Okay, so the second book that I want to talk about tonight is called Witch Child by Celia Rees. Um, yes. So I read this, I think, in middle school, and it's a wonderful book. I really enjoyed it. Not gonna lie, I only remember little pieces of it, and those pieces are what make it influential for me. I do refer back to them quite a bit mentally for myself. But I couldn't remember the exact plot, so I went to go look it up just now, just so that I could tell you guys what the plot is, and just because I couldn't remember. There's like pieces or scenes that just like they're in there forever. But couldn't remember the plot. So I just now found out that it's a two-part book series. I didn't know. I just found out. So I have no idea if the second book is good. I have no idea about any of that. What I do know is that from reading the synopsis, I should remember the plot if it's influential, but there's pieces of the story that made it so that those itty bitty pieces are just stuck in my head forever, and then I refer back to them frequently. So the plot, which I should tell you guys more about the plots when I do these talks. I am so sorry that I don't do that more often. But the plot is that a teenage girl sees her grandmother unalived for being a witch and being in contract with the devil. And for her own safety, she moves to America to, be safe. But unfortunately, what happens is that not safe in America either, because they also don't like witches there in America. So she like is masquerading as a Puritan girl while she's in the States, and it's difficult for her because she isn't a typical Puritan child. And she's got thoughts and feelings that are not good for a Puritan girl to have. And the story itself is extremely reminiscent of the Salem witch trials, namely the Crucible. That kind of telling of it. It's very reminiscent of that. The thing with the story, and I don't know if this is spoilers because I don't remember if it's like that important, but the things that stick out to me are like one of them is the way the village is described. I really enjoyed how the village was described and the setup, especially between like the cabiny kind of like structures, because it's a settlement. It is 100% a settlement. So it's very structured like a settlement. They very much built it themselves and put the pieces together, and it's very old school settlement style houses when you're reading it. And then the contrast of that to like the woods that are nearby that do play a part in the story. I also really enjoyed seeing her defiance and her abnormal for her society thought processes, and how she tried her best to hide those, but she was still feeling and processing all of those things. I enjoyed that a lot, especially as a child, because I was like when I read this, I was still trying to kind of figure out how I felt about religion in general and what I wanted to believe. I just spent a long time like researching religions, researching beliefs, especially during like my late middle school, early high school years. I was trying to like figure out what I wanted to do spiritually, what fit for me, because I was having trouble with just blindly accepting what I was told before. And like I'd been having problems before that with the aspects, and I was willing to just put it away. But when I got into like middle school and I got into this area where I was like, oh, I could explore other things. I could look into other religions. I could look into other organized beliefs. I could look into what makes sense to me. And I just really dove into that. And it wasn't always comfortable to do that. So I, I related to that character in that, but also I guess at that age, it felt kind of like being seen. To read about a girl who is masquerading as a Puritan who isn't. It just isn't. I don't think it ends super, like, nice. For that, not like the ending. I don't remember the ending being devastating or anything. I don't think her masquerading ends well. Like, there's a turning point where it's like a blow up moment. Thankfully, I couldn't relate to that. I didn't like blow up. My spiritual experiences have been pretty calm, other than a couple of confrontations. Nothing nearly as dramatic, not even close. But it was nice to like feel seen as like a kid. That's a big thing when you're a kid. You want to feel seen. I don't want to feel seen now, and I'm 36. I don't know if I would reread this one, and I'm probably not going to read the second book. It's not that I don't think the author isn't, like, great. She probably, and from what I remember, she is, because I did like the way she described things. I did really like her main character. And one of the other scenes that I remember is, like, one of the guys leading her, like not leading her, but like they're all walking together, and then he is trying to navigate her path by positioning himself so that she has to walk a certain way or run into him. I remember that, and it comes to mind every time I go on a walk, like on a date, because I notice it when it happens to me. I notice when they're trying to, like, you're gonna walk this or you're gonna run into me kind of thing. And I remember reading about it in that scene, and it always just like cyclically pops up. It'll be, I'm experiencing this thing, and then it pops up that, like, I read about somebody experiencing that thing, and that it was a very, like, it just okay. The only reason that I'm not going to read the second book is because I don't want to revisit the first book. I don't want to mar what I remember. Maybe in the future, but currently not. Not in the plans. I don't want to mar what I remember by adding new memories. I want to just coast along with what I have. If I do revisit it, which I could someday, but it's not happening anytime soon, it's not in the plans, I would definitely, like, pick up the second book, just because I do remember enjoying this one, and I remember liking the writing style. Goodness, my words. So yeah, I think it was a fun book. It was a good book. It was a nice book to read when I was in middle school. It was nice to feel seen while reading something, even if maybe that's not the kind of thing that you want to feel seen about. I did when I was a kid, and that was nice. So this book was good for me.